calling each other out. We've seen Roy Jones Jr. and other fighters. Does this open up the door for other fights similar to this?
I'm skeptical. A key part of this is the personalities and the sell. I'm not sure I know there wouldn't be the same level of interest without the two personalities involved. We thought about populating a good portion of the undercard with MMA versus boxing. The reality, you'd probably end up with a lot of short fights. I think, that's not meant as a slight. If we did it in reverse, in an octagon or in an MMA, in a cage, then, sure, there'd be a lot of short fights there as well. So I think this is almost the perfect storm of a number of different features. It'll be few and far between, but maybe it could happen again.
How does this compare, and I'm just curious, from what you've seen right now with the Joshua fight, because we saw 90,000 people there. So that's kind of sparked my interest to kind of compare it, because Joshua's on the same level, at least over there, as both these guys.
There is a level of interest worldwide in this event that really supersedes anything I've ever seen. Mayweather, Pacquiao, Joshua, Klitschko, getting, guys that I work with, colleagues that are overseas, in Amsterdam, they hear, the table next to them is debating the fight, and, we've all have stories like this. This is one of those truly global events. It's become, not to sound like a blowhard, but it's becoming a cultural event. It's not just a sporting event. It's one of those things that's experienced culturally. 4 episodes starting July 28th, and there's a lot of material there that people haven't seen, and really, we could probably do 2-hour episodes every week based on everything. I wish we had more time to process everything we're getting. They're just two fascinating characters.
Is there going to be any of the crossover stuff maybe on CBS, or is it just strictly going to be the All Access and then right into the fight?
There will be a lot. We're going to combine with UFC. UFC is going to come in with Embedded. They're doing a lot of what they typically do. We'll do what we do and involve CBS Sports Network and CBSSports.com. I think this is going to be fairly inescapable by the time we get to the last week of August.
Can you announce anything from the undercard, Stephen? Co-main or who's heading the pay-per-view?
Tank Davis is the co-main. He doesn't have an opponent yet, but
Salido dropped out.
It doesn't look like it's going to be Salido. But knowing Tank, it's going to be a good, solid fight, and I love that position for him. I think he's one of the most entertaining, most fun fighters to watch, and I think it's a perfect platform for him.
And to kick off the pay-per-view, who are you guys leaning towards?
I know Floyd. I haven't gotten confirmation. Floyd had mentioned Badu Jack, moving up to 175, and I think there's some talk about Benavidez, going on the card as well. But I know David. But he's going into the Durrell fight, so I'm not sure where they're doing there.
How many fights on the pay-per-view?
It'll be 4 total, including the main event.
In terms of the prelims, will you do a show extreme, or how is that being handled?
We're going to be leaning on Fox. This is one of the examples where we're leaning on them. Fox is active and supportive of both MMA and boxing, and so where we've typically done a pre-show, it'll probably be on one of the Fox platforms and involve their talent. And as supportive as they've been in both sports, I think it's a good way to keep them involved, engaged, and get their support for a big event.
You know Floyd Mayweather on a personal level a lot better than most people. He's a very nice guy, very polite. We haven't seen this side of him in many, many years. Did it surprise you how on point he is?
It did surprise me. We haven't seen this Floyd since the De La Hoya promotion, when he was at his peak in terms of trash talking and needling Oscar. I wasn't sure whether he still had it in him, because for the first half of the LA, he was stone-faced. And I think that might have been his plan to a point, but you can only take so much. And, he dug deep and he brought the old Floyd out.